I've demonstrated civilizations that had better technology had a more regressive social order in the liberal sense in the past.
Okay, that's
and maybe even
fine.
still do to this
It's
day.
not a universal. Of course there's nuance there. I'm using the definition of the
Let's
word
just
though.
say
It's in relation
it's
to,
only
it's relative to.
universal to your
So,
people. You know,
hold
at
on.
one
You've
point.
talked enough now and given all of us AIDS. Now let me explain, okay? So if aliens came down to Earth right now and they had the ability to teleport and time travel and go through different realms and they had more advanced technology, we would be considered primitive because now we are defining our civilization and the way in which we operate relative to
No, it's okay. I hope I'm audible for the audience.
Yeah, you're okay. I believe you're okay. So is this the RTSG? What does that mean? Who is that? What does that stand for?
That's our group. That's a we're a group that researches politics, geopolitics, philosophy, economy, and even media. So that's who we are. That's
Okay,
just
so
the
you want
name
to
of the
go
group.
through and sort of talk about this tweet where you called me a Hitler light or
No, I
Hitlerite?
didn't write it. I didn't write it, but my friend did. And yeah, I mean, if you could read it for the audience, it's
The
a
raging
multiple.
Hitlerite liberal Hunter Avallone, who became a
Yes.
liberal after being dominated and domesticated by Jabba the Vosh, which is not true, by the way, is showing his social
Fitting.
Darwinist, what is that word? Mendelian racialism? Your society
Mendelian
isn't,
racialism.
all right,
Yes.
your society isn't better because you mass produce Funko Pops and can freely access Reddit.
Ooh.
So, and you attach this, not evolved, evolutionary, or cultural. Ha- you realize that's what the definition of primitive means, right?
Um, I mean, that's what I'll debate you about after. But yeah, could you continue reading the
Just
rest of the
because
thread?
African tribes are technologically backwards doesn't indicate primitiveness. The advancement of technology does not equate to an advancement of cultural or societal sophistication. Degeneration of human culture, morality as a result of consumerism exists. Holy shit, dude. I don't want to read this whole massive thing. All right. His conception of culture is that more products there are, the more advanced culture. This is bullshit. Hunter Avallone perceives the conception of time as these people existing in the past, despite them living in the present. Not true at all. You're just like basically just projecting things on me. History is not a linear, dead list of facts, but moves in spiraling zigzags. Societies develop not by random happenstances or individual brilliance, but by generations of dynamic compounding events. I mean, I can probably agree with that. Therefore, it is ironically Avallone's conception of linear time that is primitive. Pick up, I don't know what you mean linear time. Avallone's speech is virtually indistinguishable from a Victorian colonel officer. He accuses his critics of being racial essentialists, despite calling African tribesmen mud hut tribesmen. Never said that, but okay. Cliche racism that is so comical and speaks for itself that explaining isn't needed. It is astonishing that someone of this obtuse caliber commands an audience of 500,000 people. Okay, cool. So let me give a quick rundown just for anybody who's listening or watching currently, and then we'll go through this thread and I'll explain why virtually every single thing he said here is like embarrassingly wrong. So first and foremost, I mentioned that tribe was primitive in regards to the fact that they do not have the same access to resources which provide them with the proper type of information regarding complex social phenomena such as sex, gender, non-binary, transgender, etc. And I'm sorry, but this was demonstrated in Matt Walsh's own video where the people he spoke to didn't know what non-binary meant or what it meant for a woman to, or what it meant for someone to be a woman with a penis. And again, I'm not saying that they are dumb. What I am saying is that, sure, they have the capability to learn more, of course, but the way that they are currently living, aka in mud huts, in a tribe, then yes, they don't have equal access to that type of information. So I fail to see how this is racist to acknowledge a fact of the matter.
Do I come in and disagree now, or do you want to lay out more of your disagreements and then we can go over them afterwards?
Well, you can go ahead and talk now, and then we'll go through the thread, I guess.
Sure. Your point that I guess they are primitive because they don't know what non-binary is, right?
No,
I mean,
that's not why they're primitive.
no.
If you can't quote back what I said, then I'll say it again.
You said that they don't have equal access to technology that would explain to them specific concepts such as non-binary, right?
Do they have access? Why don't you answer a couple yes or no questions? Does a
Yes.
tribe that is described, by the way, even by travel agencies, nothing political, as primitive, does that tribe have access to, say, the internet or a library or a large amount of books that could educate them on certain subjects?
Do you mean like a theoretically a tribe or that specific tribe?
That specific tribe, do they have access to those things, those
Yes,
resources?
yes. Maasai people have access. They have access to internet in Kenya. Yes, my parents are from
The
there.
wait, the
Kenya is a
tribe
country
out
that
in the
has
middle of
internet.
nowhere, which is constantly moving around, has access to the internet?
Yeah, because they usually are based off of towns. You know that they have. That's where they meet you when they go to traveling agency. What do you call it?
All right, let me
Where
go
they
ahead and
work.
let me
You
go
know.
back to my thing then for this because that's just not true. The way in which that tribe operates,
I
that's
mean,
inaccurate.
no, no, no. They are a nomadic tribe usually, but the people who specifically who coordinate this kind of stuff are based off of specific locations. But that's just like any modern company. It doesn't really much matter. But even then, I
Wait,
mean,
they have. All right,
what?
hold on.
Yes.
The Mahasi tribe roam freely across the savannah from country to country, moving from one place to another without any regard for travel regulations or state borders.
That's conceptually that's the tribe, most of them specifically, but like most of them, um, I don't think most of them actually even live that way
Do
nowadays.
they generally have access to things like internet?
Um, yes,
Really? Then why
yes.
is that completely contradictory to the type of videos and the information that we have on this tribe?
The type of videos you have on this specific tribe.
Yeah, you
I
can
mean,
watch videos of the tribe, and they're obviously living a more traditional lifestyle. And again, I'm not condemning that, but when you act as if like, oh yeah, you know, they're traveling from place to place, they tend to build huts out of mud, but yeah, they can whip out their iPhone anytime. Like, that, are you serious right now? Are you joking?
did I say they have iPhones and shit?
I'm
No, I
asking
said
if you
that
think they have access to the
they
internet.
have yes, they have access to internet in Kenya. Yeah, and
I'm not
well, they're
saying in
mostly in Kenya.
Kenya. That's not the question. I'm asking if
They
this
live
specific
mostly in
tribe, the
Kenya.
way in
Yes.
which they live, do they have the same type of access that we have here to internet access, a library, access to knowledge the same way?
I mean, if you're asking me, like specifically, like if per capita they have as much internet usage as your average small town in America, then obviously no.
Okay, cool.
But
So then they don't have the
in
equal
small,
access to certain
Mhm.
resources that could provide them with knowledge on complex social phenomena, such as non binary people and trans people. That's fine. That's all I wanted was a
That's
simple
not. First of
acknowledgement of
all,
that.
pause, pause, pause. That's not necessarily something you need the internet to know. That's just like a social organization that is dependent on multiple factors, not just like technology, right?
Obviously,
So,
it's going to be multiple factors, and that's why I say even no matter what,
so why
every human
use
civilization
technology as
has a
specific?
concept of gender, but they might not fully understand how that is considered gender, how we classify gender, how that interacts. I'm not saying again that they're stupid and they're dumb, they're not able to learn. None of this is what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that the way in which they live, the way in which they choose to live, makes it so they are living a more traditional or primitive lifestyle where they don't have equal access to certain resources to be educated on these topics, which was shown in Matt Walsh's fucking thing in his video.
Give me a second. I'm trying to like
It
pick
doesn't
up
have to be the
the
internet
link.
either. It could be a library. It could be any type of equal access to resources that provide knowledge.
I mean, no, not really, because like for we have plethora of examples throughout history where you'd have like a country that has better technology, subjugating a different people with worse technology, and ensuring that they have more regressive, like in the liberal sense, uh, social order. Like forcing that on them. That has happened countless times throughout history.
Yes,
So
of
it's not
course, I'm not
necessarily
saying the internet
doesn't
fixes
track. I mean, it
everything.
doesn't track one to one.
No, no.
Like, there's no
Okay,
such thing as like universal progression. You know that, right?
I'm not saying that the internet is going to magically fix everything. The internet has caused a fuck ton of problems. I'm using the internet more or less as a fill in for a good idea or understanding of how we access knowledge and information nowadays. When we want to learn things, we usually go to the internet or to a library if we are seeking out more knowledge, especially on advanced subjects such as non-binary. All I meant was that they don't have the same access to those resources because the way in which they live is, by the way we define things, primitive. That I'm not saying the people are primitive. I'm saying that their lifestyle, the way in which they choose to live, is primitive by the very definition of the word.
Their vibe is primitive. I mean, it doesn't.
Wait, did you just say they're primitive?
I said that.
Holy shit! Are you being racist right now? Are you a Hitlerite?
Oh my god, yes.
Whoa, we got Hitler over here. Right? Hitler Part 2.
Here's the question. What are the implications of primitive?
Well, before I get to that, I'd just like to read this really quickly.
No, it's a rhetorical question. That was the joke. The implications when you say the the term primitive is three. One, there is a hierarchy. Two, you are higher on that hierarchy than them. Three, this hierarchy has objective measures to which one could track development, progress, etc. So I guess like number one is demonstrate. I would ask you. This is not rhetorical. Demonstrate the objectivity of this hierarchy, right? And demonstrate to which why the specific.
Am I misunderstanding? Are you asking me to prove an objective category?
Yes, because your statement.
No categories are objective.
Yes. Yes, there are objective categories. Yes.
Wait, categories are socially constructed. We make them. They are by definition not objective.
No.
If by the way you're using objective, you mean it stays the same without human perception.
No. Within sciences, things can be classified in an objective manner. Yes. You're familiar with anthropology, no?
Yeah, no, I am. But when you say objective,
okay,
so what it usually means when you say objective, that is referring to something that stays the same without human perception or human interaction. For example, an existence of a rock is objective because even if there were no humans on Earth, the rock would still be here. It doesn't depend upon human interaction or perception to exist. Categories necessarily do, so they are not objective by the way in which we determine that word. Before you go on another spiel, let me just read this really quickly from Safari Adventura, which is a neutral source. It's not political at all. It's actually like a tour guide thing. It says, one of these tribes is the Masi people, sometimes written as... Okay, shh. Sometimes written as Mahase, who to this day remain a primitive tribe of warriors living... Maasai. Okay. One of these tribes is the Maasai people, sometimes written as Maasai, who to this day remain a primitive tribe of warriors living mainly in the areas dominated by the enormous Mount Kilimanjaro. So when you say Hunter's a racist Hitlerite for saying the word primitive, yet this tribe is described as primitive even by neutral travel agency blogs, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what neutral travel agency means.
This is about like if you're going to be a tourist, if you're going to go to this location, what to expect.
There's a lot of people who are like liberals who are racist. So it's like, I don't know. They could be everywhere. They could be behind us. It's like it's a common thing in the West, you see. So it's not really much of an issue. But I guess going back to it. Do
you want me to read you the definition of what a primitive tribe is according to this book?
No. Philosophy, okay? So we have the three questions or the 3 points that I made, right? It implies hierarchy. It implies you're higher on the hierarchy, and implies that the specific measurements one could use in this hierarchy or whatever are objective. So I'm just asking you to display like the objectivity of it and why you are on higher on that.
I'm not going to lay out an objective category because I've already said that those are not objective, and by the way in which we categorize things, they cannot be. So if you want to get hung up on this weird philosophical give me an objective category nonsense, then that's fine if you want to go in a circle for an hour. But I'm trying to actually explain my position, why I took that position, and why my position is grounded in reality, not racism. Okay? Here's another one for you. A book literally about indigenous language acquisition and maintenance, talks about what is a primitive tribe. It is usually used to describe a group of people not yet exposed to or used to modern practices contemporarily prevalent. Members of such groups may have primitive features in their social structures as well as practices. Again, I'm not talking about humans
Okay,
being
no, but
primitive.
here's the issue, right? Here's the issue, is that you specifically use language that is racist. Someone calls you out, hey, this language is racist, and then you go run to a question, specific list or website, where you're like, oh, well, they use the specific language, therefore I'm not racist.
Not
But we
just
all
that,
know
it's that the
intuitively,
definition
first
of
of
the
all,
word is not inherently
pause.
racist. You're the one extrapolating that.
Intuitively, we all understand when you had specifically used those specific terms, you did not have in your mind, oh, I'm actually referencing this language, or oh, I'm referencing this book, or this travel agency actually uses it in the same manner. That's not how communication actually works, right? Like we there's a
The way
particular
communication
pattern.
usually works is we say words which have definitions that elucidate what we mean to say. So when I say
We
that a
don't
tribe is
run.
primitive, and then the
No,
word
we
of
don't
primitive
run
is
to
described as
specific. No,
lacking
we don't run
relative
to
to, hold on, shh.
specific.
When the
Shut
definition
up, shut up.
when the
We don't run to
definition of
specific
primitive is
technical
defined as
definitions
contemporarily
where
prevalent to a
you
more modern
press on a
society,
matter.
and then
That
they
is
have more
your
primitive
fault,
features in their
not the
social
fault of the
structures,
people.
then that
That's not
definition is
that's not even
valid the
how
way in which I chose to
understanding
use
works.
it.
Because the way understanding works is that you have a group of people that has a larger understanding, and then you have a group of people that has a smaller understanding. And the psychotic thing you're trying to do is take it so that the group of people who understood it intuitively from the clip that you have seen, and say, oh, those people have the minority understanding. Actually, my people have the majority understanding. Which you can demonstrate the how incorrect that statement is by just simple numbers. You could just look
Yeah,
at how
when you
many.
make up my statement, I'm sure it's very easy to do
No,
that. But
it's
that's
not
not what I
making up your
said. That's not even what
statement.
I
It's
implied.
looking at your video and posting it. And besides, I keep asking you to demonstrate the objectivity of this specific developmental standard that you specifically said and or implied. Sorry, you
Wait,
implied
again,
within your
primitive is
statement.
not an
And you
objective thing.
ran away
Primitive is
from it
defined in
by
relation to a more developed
no,
area.
you ran away to a website that's at some point said the same word that you said, which is totally what you had in mind when you specifically used those terms, right?
Okay, let's go
This is not
back
how
really quickly.
dude, this is not
Let's
how
just
logic
give a
works.
quick summary real quick, because I have a feeling already that, because I've seen you tweet about me and whatnot. I have a feeling that your main goal here is to be basically just as fucking annoying as possible to get me to hang up, and then so
No,
you can
not
claim
really.
victory. I never ran back to a website. I
You did.
cited that. First of all, I hear an echo in the background. Do you maybe have primitive technology over there? Can you maybe turn it down a little bit?
Do I
So
have primitive
when I
technology?
say that
I mean, I
something
do
is,
have a primitive person in my ear, but that's neither here nor
oh
there.
wow, so now you're actually being more racist than I ever was, because I never said anybody was primitive, but nice one.
Oh, yes, you just
So
implied on the screen that there may be primitive people who should not dare to speak about mein Volk.
do you think that's what I said? This is what I mean with the bad faith. You're actually
It
like
really is
you're
not, because
lying
it's
about what
like,
I said. I
here's the
never
thing.
said they're primitive, therefore they shouldn't talk about this. That's not even what I said.
You absolutely implied it. You absolutely implied
I
it.
said they're
Let's not
probably
like
not the
joke
best
or whatever.
source, but that doesn't mean they
Oh,
can't talk about
they're
it. What?
probably not the best. Which, by the way, how
Wait,
do you
if
even
you
judge
lack
what
knowledge
is
on
the source?
something, then yes, that's probably not the best source to go seeking knowledge on that thing. What are you talking about?
Because they have an understanding of social, or they have a different understanding of social order than you do in your country, doesn't mean objectively that they have bad information.
You're
You do
right. It
understand,
doesn't mean
right?
objectively, because words are not objective. Good one, buddy. You're coming around. I'm proud of you.
I mean, they are, but whatever. I mean,
Do you think like the Amish would be considered primitive?
I don't know what Amish is.
They live without electricity. They ride around with horse and carriages. They basically adhere to their strict view of faith and religion. And so, yeah, they don't use technology. They don't use cars.
I don't know if that's a fair assessment. I mean, judging by your track record, I don't know if that's a fair assessment of their
Would you
lifestyle.
consider that
So
generally like being
I wouldn't
primitive?
take you as a good source for primitiveness, personally speaking. But that's just me, you know.
I guess the reason it sort of feels like we're kind of walking and going around and around in circles here is that I feel that I was very clear with what I said. What I argued
Yes, it was
was
very
that
clearly
because
racist,
the
which is why
tribe
most people who
was
saw it interpreted it as racist. So Yes.
No, actually, a lot of people didn't interpret it as racist if they were
You,
not
you
interested in
definitely
being
did.
bad
You
faith
called them
cuckolds.
archaic, dude. You literally called them. You metaphysically isolated them in a bubble and pretended they
Wait,
existed on different
archaic
planets.
was just a misnomer. That was the wrong word. I meant primitive.
You were gonna say something else. I feel. I don't know.
Wait, the okay, yeah, this is the thing with the bad faith is like you obviously have a perception of me and this idea of me that you're kind of clinging to, and no matter what I say, you're not going to change. But yeah, archaic, I
Oh,
said right away, hey, archaic was actually the wrong word to use there. That was a misnomer. It didn't even make sense with what I was saying. It wasn't like I was trying to be extra racist and then walked back to being a little less racist or some shit. I said archaic mistakenly, and then I corrected
no, you
myself and
did.
said,
You did the
I
even
actually
more
meant
cowardly
primitive. That
thing.
was the word I was actually looking for, in which more
You weren't
people
trying
got
to be
mad at
more
me
racist.
saying that
Can
I
I
was
can I
being
say
racist.
you weren't trying to be very racist and then walked it back to being less racist. You did the more cowardly thing of being very racist, getting caught.
Hey mods, go ahead and ban all the trolls here in chat. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, I said that. Give me a moment here. What was I saying? Yeah, I said that you weren't being very racist and then you walked it back to being less racist. You did the more cowardly thing of being very racist and then tried to do the jujitsu move where it's like everyone is actually more racist than you by
No, actually,
interpreting
the
your
reason that you
racism
would
as
have to be
racist.
racist for that is because you're the one essentializing being primitive to the people. I wasn't. Primitive tribe
Ah,
specifically refers to a tribe in which their social structure, relevant to contemporary practices, is primitive. It's behind in
there's no
development.
pause, 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 pause. What is who assigns the standard of what is the social structure is like?
Weren't you the one who was just arguing about objective categories?
Oh, who assigns it? I'm just asking you who.
If we're going to use the word primitive, it's used in relation to more contemporary societies and social structures.
More contemporary society. See, you're also isolating them in the past again, like I said before.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about one
You said more
civilization that's moved ahead
contemporary
and developed in
societies.
social structures.
You said more contemporary societies. Come on,
Yes.
man.
Yes. If we're talking about a civilization that has developed at a faster rate, and we're talking about them having more access to certain resources, as opposed to another tribe that doesn't, relevant to that developed society, that tribe is now defined as primitive. Yes.
You specifically said that you weren't using language that isolates them in the past, and you specifically
That's
did
not
say that
isolating them in the
right now.
past. That's
You
just defining
absolutely
it the
did.
way the word is used. You don't understand how
Not
words
really.
work. You're over here
Not
telling me
really.
that I need to
You're
come up
just
with an
coping.
objective
Your
definition,
definition
and
coping.
you don't
Your
even
definition
fucking
coping
know.
about
You
like
don't even
getting
know what
caught.
words mean or
No,
how
not
they're
really,
used,
because
apparently.
you're coping about definitions when being caught in the language you use. Besides,
I'm so caught right
as I
now.
said,
I'm so
there is
scared. Oh
no
no.
such thing. There's no such thing as universal. What do you call it? Progress. For example, Victorian laws are like far more regressive on like many fronts compared to like local laws in like India or like Polynesia or the Islamic world regarding things like homosexuality,
Wait, do
etc.
you
They
think
even
that if
pushed it as a
aliens
mental
came to
illness.
Earth that had the
So
ability
it doesn't really
to
make
go through
sense for
okay, I'll let you
universal progress to be a thing.
Uh,
What's your
I
alien code? What's
know.
your
See,
alien code?
wait, hold on. You just did it again with the bad faith. I never said anything about universal progress. I don't know if you're
You
actually
said
stupid or maybe you're
contemporary
acting in a way to be
societies.
stupid.
You
Either
said
way, you're
contemporary
acting fucking
societies.
stupid right now.
No, really. No, really. You're coping
In
because
relation
you
to
said two things.
more
You said
contemporary
contemporary
civilizations,
societies. Yeah, you said
that's not a
contemporary society.
universal.
Pause, pause, pause. You said contemporary societies. That's the first thing. And then the second thing you said was that they don't like their social order is more what do you call it? More backwards. Sorry, not backwards.
It's not as
More
evolved
primitive
or
or whatever.
developed.
Which doesn't even make sense because there's no way to track the quote development of a social order unless you're doing it in the liberal sense, which I've demonstrated. Civilizations that had better technology had a more regressive social order in the liberal sense in the past,
Okay, that's
and maybe even
fine.
to still do to this
It's not
day.
a universal. Of course there's nuance there. I'm using the
I mean,
definition of the
let's
word
just
though. It's
say
in relation to, it's
it's
relative
only
to.
universal to your
So,
people,
hold on.
wink,
You've
wink.
talked enough now and given all of us aids. Now let me explain, okay? So, if aliens came down to Earth right now and they had the ability to teleport and time travel and go through different realms and they had more advanced technology, we would be considered primitive because now we are defining our civilization and the way in which we operate relative to a much more superior and advanced civilization. Therefore, we would then be defined as primitive. That's why it's relative. None of what I'm saying is racist. None of what I'm saying faults the people in the clip. It is, in fact, you chuckle fucks who are consistently saying that it is black people who are primitive when I never said that.
Superior. Interesting.
Superior in regards to the development of the nation. Holy shit, are you this insane?
Interesting. Interesting. What are the implications of such supremacy? If you want to, do a little funny move with your right hand.
I really, listen, I don't really appreciate the conversation. What I'm really sad about most is that, you kept saying, like, I'm going to destroy you. And what you're doing now is misconstruing what I'm saying, making up what I've said to then say I'm racist. You're not understanding words. And because of your own retardation, you're now saying that I'm the one who doesn't understand words. And lastly, I said a superior developed society in regards to aliens. And you brought that up to say, oh, Hunter thinks that white people are superior. So you can go fuck yourself, cuckold. Bye. You succeeded. You got me to rage quit. Congrats. Holy shit. Banned for being a bad faith bitch. Jesus Christ. Honest to God, I was trying to have a good faith conversation. I was trying to explain. I was trying to explain how we define words and why me saying primitive was not a racist thing. Okay. Oh my gosh. I can't actually... He was so dumb. Yeah, that was never going to go well. Very cowardly, very sad caller. Man tried to claim you were an alien supremacist. I'm sorry. Yes. He's revealed it, guys. My mask has slipped. I believe in alien supremacy. Oh! Yeah, the Twitter people are fucking insane. These guys, they're a bunch of, like, tanky cucks. I guarantee you there's going to be, like, 5 tweets right now about how Hunter just got BTFO'd. Oh! Yep, what did I say? Hunter's mods are such cowards that they ban anyone that calls them out for overusing the phrase bad faith. Yeah, I said to ban the trolls. Suck it up. Deal with it. Cope. Discord is free for anybody to join. Bring me on next. At RTSG bodied your racist ass. Oh my god. Okay. Dude, this is what I mean is like not understanding words. They project their own dumbassery onto me. They're like, I don't understand what primitive means or how it's used in this context. Therefore, Hunter is the one who is racist. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.